perfectly reasonable in the measures that we need to take. If we can just simply exert some self-control and humility and realize we don't know, we really don't know. We know more now, and as we can at least give voice to our concerns, we're going to be more likely to be able to move forward in path. Thank you. We can just simply exert some self-control and humility and realize.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I would just encourage you to sit tight. We don't know. We don't know what the Omicron is going to do. My main, just for a little bit of historical perspective, Gamma that arose in the Amazon in Brazil looked like that could have been a very similar situation where it had a very different spike protein and a society that had already seen a huge first wave got sick again with the second wave. And so, but it didn't spread. It did not spread, which is the good thing. So
it's hard to predict.
Yeah, it is.
Question. So when a person does like the rapid test and then they get positive, and then you send do the other test, the PCR, and you send it to the lab, what they're doing there is checking for different strains of
the PCR actually amplifies, it replicates the RNA, and then within that replication, it looks for three, many of the PCRs look for three particular targets. And if any of those targets are present, then the PCR turns positive. That's actually the way that they first identified the Omicron. It still turned the test, the PCRs positive, but one of the targets was missing consistently. And so they use that as a rough estimate.
That's when they said, oh, this is fitting into.
Yeah, this is probably Omicron. That was kind of like the first step of saying, okay, if you have a PCR that is missing this signal, and that's probably the Omicron variant. They didn't do the sequencing. We can't do the sequencing. And in the whole pandemic here, we've had about 420 sequences sent to the state and federal labs. And out of those 422, 305 have been Delta variant. And that's actually going through the sequence and matching it up. Is this, which variant is this?
Okay.
So Delta is definitely taking over here in a way that no other variant ever has.
Has there been any information or any evidence yet with vaccine and the booster on the Delta variant? It may be too new.
For the Delta variant?
I'm sorry, on
Omicron variant, we don't know.
okay.
The reports out of South Africa are, it's what we've seen before. Like at Barnstable, 75% of those who were infected had actually been vaccinated. While in South Africa, 40% of those who are identified with Omicron variant had already either been infected in the past or vaccinated. And so it still will infect. The thing that is encouraging, at least, is that very few of those have landed in the hospital so far. So if it ends up being a variant that is highly infective, but not very severe, then that may be the variant that will, in the end, be the safest to get and not land in the hospital. But again, we don't know. Most of the folks that have gotten it have been university students and their families who are in general younger. And so we don't know what it will do in the older generation.
Kim, are we connected already?
We've been connected, but now we have audio.
Oh, okay.
Kind of late. Sorry.
No problem. Okay, public comment. I know we have a number of guests here. So I assume some of you or all of you will have one comment. I can make it simple. You just start with yourself and just move down the line.
You want to just stay here?
That would be fine.
Yep. All right. So a couple of things, and I appreciate the doc saying that. That must be imperative that everybody understand that we don't know. We don't know. That's the number one thing. Everybody here seems to be in agreement on everything. The first thing I've heard is Dr. Zabalska saying something outside of the ordinary. Everybody else is just pinballing off of each other. So I brought something that maybe should make you go, I'm gonna present this to you guys. I want you to read every part of it. It's got the studies, it's got everything you need. Everything's been put together. This is a criminal conspiracy that's been perpetrated on the world, all right? So what you guys have been a part of unwittingly, I'm not suggesting that anybody in here is a bad person. I'm saying you've been unwitting participants in mass genocide. This is Nuremberg. This will be brought to trial. All this stuff will come out. But I'm going to read a little subsection here. 21 CFR 50-24, illegal clinical trials. It is unlawful to conduct medical research, even in the case of emergency, without a series of steps taken to A, establish the research with a duly authorized and independent institutional review board, B, secure informed consent of all participants, including a statement of risk and benefits, and C, engage in consultation with the community in which the study is being conducted. By the way, this is a study that's being perpetrated on the American public without their knowledge. And it is still in trial, and I have all that information here, if you'd like to see it. Dr. Anthony Fauci has forced upon the healthy population of the United States an unlawful clinical trial in which the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services are extrapolating epidemiological data. No informed consent has been sought or secured for any of the medical countermeasures forced upon the population. No independent review board as defined by the statute has been impaneled. Through April 2020, the official recommendation of the Journal of the American Medical Association was unambiguous. Face masks should not be worn by healthy individuals to protect themselves from acquiring respiratory infection because there is no evidence to suggest that face masks worn by healthy individuals are effective in preventing people from becoming ill. That's directly from the journal. Part of that lack of evidence, in fact, showed that cloth face masks actually increase influenza-linked illnesses. In contravention to established science, states, municipalities, and businesses have violated the legal requirements for the promulgation of medical countermeasures during the public health emergency, stating a belief that face masks limit the spread of SARS-CoV-2. To date, not a single study has been confirmed or done that a mask prevented the transmission of or the infection of SARS-CoV-2. There isn't one. I've looked. All parties mandating the use of face masks are not only willfully ignoring established science, but are engaging in what amounts to the whole population clinical trial. This conclusion is reached by the fact that face mask use in COVID-19 incidents are being reported in scientific opinion pieces promoted by the United States Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and others.
I don't really want to
Yeah.
cut you off.
I would love feedback.
No, that's fine, I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah.
I don't want to, try to see,
I'm
I don't even want to.
this is it. I'm gonna read the rest of this, and I'm gonna present this to you guys,
Okay.
okay? And by the way, once you're notified of this, this is a criminal conspiracy dossier. You are part of it if you fail to act. You are supposed to be working for the public. If you fail to act, you fail to read it, you fail to implement, you fail to investigate, you are part of the criminal conspiracy. You'll be charged. You understand that? Okay. Social distancing.
I think we shouldn't continue. I think we need a legal opinion before we continue.
Well, I'm gonna
That's
finish
so
this. real quick.
threatening.
Yeah, you just threatened.
That's so threatening. I'm so sick of being
Threatening?
Is that threatened?
Yeah, you
How is
said,
that
you
threatening?
said we're gonna be arrested, you said we're criminals.
I said,
That's not
if you
a threat.
fail to act, are you listening?
Yes.
If you fail to act, you will be part of the
Right,
criminal
so that's
conspiracy.
a legal opinion, just keeping track of it.
Okay, well, listen. Are you gonna listen? Social distancing, up to 6 feet, has been promoted as a means of preventing person-to-person transmission of influenza-like viruses. While one study hypothesized that infection could happen in a 6-foot range, the study explicitly states that person-to-person transfer was not tested, and viability of the virus is 6 feet.
You're a wise person.
All right, you guys are unwise
You're
for
entitled to
listening,
your-
for not listening.
keen to think, are you
No,
down?
we're listening, but you gotta summarize.
I don't
We're not.
think
I'm
Okay.
almost done.
This time's up.
This is summarized.
Okay, well,
I could read the whole
The
study
time-
for you.
No.
Apparently, nobody reads studies.
It's been 2 minutes, so, yeah.
I'm gonna
I-
keep going, there is no time limit you can
Yes,
hit.
there is.
Excuse me, I'll copy it for
You
him.
can talk over it if you want. 6 feet was not
But-
even the subject of investigation, that did not stop the misrepresentation.
You're out of
the
order
studies
here?
used. You're out of
The
order.
time is up,
All
sir.
right.
I can copy the document and
I'm gonna keep
distribute
going.
it.
You're stopping it now. I could have been done by now. You keep stopping me. All right.
I didn't hear anybody say there was a 2-minute time limit.
To date, no study has
Yeah, there
established the efficacy of social distancing.
There- every
to
meeting
modify
there
the
is.
transmission. You guys all had plenty of time to talk. And you know another thing, you don't engage with the public.
No, we have.
You talk, you don't even listen to us. You're in an echo chamber, you just keep going. Nobody listens to any of this shit. You guys have never even asked the question, what if the variation,
You know what?
what is the variance if people vaccinated? They're all vaccinated. And people get this Omicron, you just said it, they're all vaccinated.
We need to remove him from.
How are you gonna remove me?
Sure.
You gonna do it?
I tell you what.
What have I done? What have I done to get removal? You've interrupted me and you won't let me finish. I have something extremely important,
Luke, I think your 2 minutes have expired.
because
Why don't
you've
you
interrupted
take-
me. All right, so I'm gonna lay this out for you guys. I fought for this country. You are not gonna tell me, a veteran who went overseas to fight for this country, that I can't talk to you. Yeah, you're gonna listen to me.
Luke?
You're gonna listen to me right now.
Your 2 minutes have expired.
You've interrupted me. You guys wanna leave, you go ahead and leave. I'm gonna have my say. In contravention to established science, states, municipalities, and businesses have violated the legal requirements for the promulgation of medical countermeasures.
No.
You can't adjourn it.
Sorry.
That's dereliction of duty.
Nope.
Dereliction of duty. Okay, well, I'm
Luke?
putting this
I
on your
wanna
guys'
talk
head.
too. I mean, this is not,
I
have a right to talk too.
Okay,
You can't adjourn this meeting. I have a right to talk.
can the other people talk? If you'll sit down, can the other people please have a turn?
Yeah, absolutely. You guys
I'll
better
copy
read
it for you. I'll copy it for them.
So, either you have to leave, or this meeting's adjourned, I'm not putting up with it.
I ain't leaving.
Well,
You go and adjourn it if you want.
The next person,
Dereliction of duty.
go ahead, sir.
Well, what, did it get adjourned or no?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
My name is Sean. I live in Berrien County. I'm a resident. I want to welcome the new health director, but I hope you do the right thing. I'm just speaking clearly. I don't have a form or anything to quote or anything like that. I'm just going by personal experience here. Last Monday, I stood up at our Board of Education meeting in the St. Joe Public Schools, and I called out the board again, and I'm saying, why are we doing this with the face mask in the schools? It prompted a phone call, and I got a phone call, and I was being told basically that it's because of the quarantines put on by the county health department. I ask you once again, why are we doing these quarantines to our kids? This is ridiculous. The face mask, you rescinded, I get, but I feel like the quarantines were put in response to like, oh, we'll get them somehow or another. We'll put quarantines on these kids now that we can't do the face mask thing. And I feel totally that's what it's all about. Because I was told by the person who called me, very reliable source, I'll let that person come out and say who it is if they want to, but they told me the whole reason why they're doing the face masks in the schools, and all these schools, is because of the quarantine. You guys are quarantined kids that are not having any symptoms at all. This is unfair. You guys you're not educating our kids. My question to you guys, as a new position,
30
you need
seconds.
to find out, well, with the schools, and I don't believe 2 minutes is enough. I got a lot of stuff I could say, but I want you to find out in the schools, with the kids wearing these face masks all the time, how is that affecting them as far as their education goes, mentally, physically, and just, I just overall, sickness-wise. They're wearing these face masks, they're touching them all day. You've touched yours, and it's just natural. You just touch it, right? But I don't know what you touched
Okay, your
before. You
time's up,
touch your
sir.
book, you touch your computer, and you touch your mask 3 or 4 times. I've been observing you, and hey, I'm not gonna get on you because you're the new guy, okay?
Commissioner
I get it.
Harrison,
But
time.
the thing of it is, though, is that we need to find out how these kids are being affected by wearing their face masks all day long. And I wanted to call out the board and say to the board that, when the Board of Education is that people are watching you in the community. You guys go out in the community.
Sean, your 2 minutes are up now.
And you, Dr. Harrison, you say, I believe in the science, your last commissioner meeting that I attended.
Sean, your
And
2
you
minutes
said, I
are
believe in
up.
the science. Well, the science is that 99.9% of these kids recover when they get the COVID.
You're punishing our kids for no reason. God, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, like I said. Figure this out, get the quarantines out of school, because that's what they're saying the reason is for the face mask. I'm telling you, that's what they're telling us. So get rid of the face mask. If it doesn't fall on you, and it's the state that's saying to you, hey, you need to keep these quarantines in place, I wanna know that.
Yeah.
Because then I'll go to the next level. If it's not here, I'll go to the next level and talk to them. Get these quarantines out of here so these kids can remove these face masks. It's affecting their education. You're dumbing down, and as a commissioner, you are responsible for what these kids are not getting educated for. We pay as taxpayers for our kids to get educated, and they're not getting educated. You're dumbing them down, and they have no right to, you have no right to do that.
No, you made the point.
But the thing is, you guys aren't listening, that's
Yeah,
the
but,
problem.
let me help you here, because I can explain that, because the reason that they're doing that, I am Robin Griffinius, I'm a Lincoln Township resident, and I'm a Lakeshore parent, and Guy, I know that you met at Mr. Eating's house on a deck or a patio, and had a meeting with Courtney right after Lakeshore dropped their mask mandate, and again, Lakeshore instituted it just a couple days later. I believe it was on a Friday or Saturday, and it's been void, and we have that information. So you were there, and I'm thinking that could be a large reason why, these quarantines are back in place now, because they're forcing our kids to wear masks, and there's some meetings going on at Greg Eaton's house, our superintendent. That seems really inappropriate to me. I don't care what was discussed. Did you have drinks and a little party too, or? I mean, that's just highly inappropriate. And then everyone wonders why we don't trust you.
Yeah.
Why we can't understand that you want to give us an injection in our arm, and you want us to wear a face mask, which is not scientific. We all know it, you know it, it's everywhere, it's not scientific. Doesn't keep me from getting sick, doesn't keep you from getting sick. By the way, I had COVID last month, tested positive for it anyway. Scientifically, I can't get it, I can't give it to you. So I don't need to wear a mask because you can't get it.
That's actually not true.
Pardon me?
That's actually not true.
That's
Yeah.
not what I hear every day on the news. When you recently have the antibodies, you can't get it.
Public
You
comment?
can't,
It's
you
public
can't
comment
get it.
time, please don't cut her off.
And I'm not even double, I didn't even get 2 minutes.
For 2 minutes, they're still going. Go ahead,
So,
Robin.
anyway, what I was saying was that there seems to be a lot of inappropriate things going on, and the quarantining is keeping our kids from,
20 seconds.
the quarantining is keeping our kids in the mask.
Dumbing them down.
And physically, my son is taking antibiotics every day for his mask acne, 'cause he's a senior in high school, and he doesn't want this all over his face from the mask. And I know that that superficially sounds just like a little thing, but he's 17 years old, and that is a big thing. A, it's not good for him to be taking the antibiotics every day, and B, obviously, it's bacteria underneath that disgusting mask that you're forcing him to wear every day. How is he not ingesting those same germs? Thank you.
Yeah.
I just get on my
Oh, good.
Oh, you can go.
No, I'm good, no, I'm just here to say, thank you, and, it's nice to, thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Ma'am?
Yeah, Jennifer Mayo Kujawa, I'm a resident of Lincoln Township. I actually mostly just came here to babysit, because I think it's unfortunate that the general public really didn't realize before all of this happened that we've kind of been asleep on the job and should be participating as members of the public. So I really just mainly came to observe. But I did actually want to compliment the health department on something. We've had so much negativity going on, that I think it's good to highlight positive things. And I actually had this conversation with Mr. Miller several years ago, long before any of this happened. I mentioned the breastfeeding board out in the lobby area, and how impressed I was with, how far I think public health has come in recognizing what a wonderful, gift Mother Nature gave us, and has started promoting breastfeeding rather than pushing, the corporate industrial food complex solution of, an infant formula on people. I think that's absolutely wonderful. But I want to ask you all, what was the time gap between promoting infant formula over what Mother Nature provided for us, and recognizing that Mother Nature got it right. Her engineering is so superior to what we are capable of doing in a short period of time. She has had millions and millions, billions of years to create the most perfect food for our children, and even beyond that, as we're using that. It is wonderful. I think it's fantastic that you're promoting that here, but let's not be myopic. Let's look at what's going on here and apply that. What can Mother Nature teach us? I will say that I also had COVID at the beginning of last month, and the only reason I know that is last week I went and got antibody tested, and I was very high. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you want to go? Okay. Hi, I'm Victory Woodall. I actually don't live in Berrien County, but I do business and I own some properties in Berrien County. So my kids go to school here, so that's kind of why I'm here as an interested member of the public. I went live in our group on Facebook because there was no sound on the YouTube, so that's why I'm doing this. I actually came here because there was no sound on the YouTube. I had other plans this morning, but I canceled them and moved them around so I could come. It's really important to take part in public meetings, like Jennifer said. I've been in the last few board meetings that didn't get canceled as an interested member of the public because I see what's happening and I don't like it. I don't like the mask mandates on our kids, and I know technically right now you guys aren't responsible for that, but there have been some policies that this board created that have strong-armed our schools into putting in their own mask policies, and I have a serious problem with that. So as soon as the mask mandate was lifted because you had to, which is really due to money, which is only $1.5 million of your $23 million budget, doesn't make sense to me, but as soon as that mask mandate was rescinded through the county, it then was put on the schools. But you guys did a little something that strong-armed those schools, which was modifying your quarantine policy, which was to say, if you have a universal mask mandate, you don't have to quarantine close contacts anymore. So you strong-armed the schools into enacting their own mask policies. You know, we thought, oh, praise God Almighty, we're free at last, but no, we're not, because you did something else and kind of screwed us over. So what I would like to see is that quarantine policy change to something that makes more sense, something that says, like what Edwardsburg says, which is, if you're sick, stay home. If you're not, you can stay in school. We'll notify you if you're a close contact of a COVID-positive person, but we're not going to force you to quarantine. We're not going to make your kid miss school just because they were around someone who tested positive, who may not have even had symptoms, which is how it's spread when you have symptoms and you're, getting nasties out of your mouth that are infected to someone else, right? That's the, uneducated white girl version of that. But anyway, I really just want you guys to modify that quarantine policy. That's the crux of why I'm here today. Yeah, please do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Melissa Clapper, I'm St. Joseph Charter Township again.
Oh, you do want to comment? Okay.
Welcome, guys, welcome, Candy. We had a chance to, make that welcome a little bit ago. And based on what I've heard and read, I feel very confident that this board will continue and you will continue as, even as the interim help, a public officer to, help keep the citizens of Berrien County, healthy, safe, even those that don't want to be healthy or safe, or want to attack you for trying to make us all. And that your efforts will continue to be based on science, science that is based on research, science that is based on testing, science that is based on trials that have been given to people willingly, and that data from that research and data from that testing and knowledge that's gained from all of that we have been practicing. And I believe that even though things might have been said in 2020, science is not stagnant. Science changes as it gathers information. So to keep quoting stuff from 2020 on what at that point people thought, and then as they gain more information and data, to keep bringing that back up is irresponsible. And then truth, I think it's based on truth of the data that you get, not pieces of truth from information that you take the sentence, the beginning of the sentence, and then you don't finish after the comma. So I think I feel confident that that information will be based. I know it won't be easy. I know it's difficult when you have people that are claiming, that you're criminals and that there's a conspiracy going on. And I guess if there is a conspiracy going on, we're all pretty damn good that we've been able to perpetrate it throughout the whole the global world and everything else. So I also believe that collaboration is an essential part. I would not have wanted to been in schools. I have been a teacher. I was a teacher for 26 years. I can only imagine. Last year, we had no flu, and a lot of it, regardless of what people went, because they didn't have masks. So I believe collaboration is great. Welcome. I thank you all for everything that you do, and I hope you continue to go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I'd just like to comment that, I think our staff and, we have a position with, expertise in this field, and, I know that they continually review and look at policies, based on new information that comes forward and what have you. I think that will continue. I think there is empathy for kids that are required to, mask up and have their, education, or interfered with, you might say. But I think it's always been to the best interest of, the children and families. Opinions can differ. I certainly respect, believe me, the right of all of you to come here, to whether it's the school board or health department, make comments. I think that's a healthy, good thing. I think I would encourage you to continue doing it and express your views. People may differ with you, have different views, but I think it's important that you do that. I think that makes the health department better. I think it makes the schools better.
But if you don't like it, you call the police.
No, and I think you have to be respectful to the people when you speak, and do it in a succinct way. I tried not to do the exact 2-minute time limit. That seems a little uncomfortable, even though I know that that's generally the rule in the county. So I try to be a little flexible there. But you can't just go on and say the same thing 10 times either. You have to respect everybody else's time. So I can tell you that we do deeply care about the kids. I've got 12 grandchildren myself, and we care about them, we love them, we want to protect them the best we can.
Don't shoot them up with these experimental therapies.
That's, and everybody has kind of their opinion.
It's gonna give them heart attacks. What's
So,
already
Can I
happened.
just ask one question? Why are we making our kids do these 8 hours a day when we as people, when we go out to go to work and everything like that, and a lot of these people that are making these decisions for our kids, they're not even adhering to their own dictatorial
Not
things that
here.
they're telling. They're going to work and they're not wearing their masks. When we were here one day, there was people not wearing their mask in here when they, and I mean, I'm just asking the question, why are we taking this out on our kids when they're the ones that are less susceptible of dying of it? I'm part of the fun, but the bodies aren't building up at these schools that don't have the masks. I mean, they're just not dying. I mean, they may get it, they'll go through the process, they'll build immunity. I mean, I'm just saying, or they can get the vaccine, or kids can wear the mask. Why are we doing this to our kids? We know who it's affecting, it's the older generation that's affected, I mean, as far as who, it really is who it's affecting that bad.
Yeah, I appreciate your point, I understand
It's
it,
affecting
and
their
I think that's
education.
something we look at continually to see what is the least invasive thing.
But would you agree, this is a health crisis with the education part of it too, because they're not seeing their teachers talk. Mental health, there's kids dying of suicide because of isolation. Shoot, there was not too long ago where a kid shot his parent in various springs. I don't know, I'm hearing a rumor on that, I don't know if that's true or not, but it's because of quarantine from what I'm hearing. So, I mean, what are we doing to our kids? Why are we doing, this is the future that's gonna help you guys live out the rest of your life. Why? Why, guys? I'm just asking.
So we're hearing your concerns about the mask, I think we all get that.
Well, the quarantine's here, that's
In
what I'm.
quarantine, and I think those will be, and are continually
And I
looked
appreciate
at and
that.
reviewed. And,
Thank you.
so we'll see what, I think we keep
Please.
looking at it with the new evidence that comes out and a better understanding. So, I think we know what your view is.
I appreciate
We understand
time.
that.
I really do. I want one
And I
thing.
appreciate y'all
For listening. Thank
Are
you
you
for
guys
listening.
familiar with Mark Twain? He said there's lies, there's damn lies, and there's statistics. You realize statistics can be easily manipulated in both ways. We gotta be very cognizant of how we go through this stuff.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
For your comments today, too, even though we disagree.
Please don't exit that way, please.
Nice to meet you. You and Ricky, always.